Hi Year 6 and welcome to Monday's maths lesson. Last week we looked at percentages of amounts and today we are going to focus on fractions of amounts. So to start off, pause the video and remind me, what is 50% as a fraction? What about 25%? What about 10%? And what about 1%? And then come back for the answers. Okay, so hopefully you've remembered that 50% is the same as a half, 25% is the same as a quarter, 10% is the same as a tenth, and 1% is the same as 1/100th. This might help you with today's learning. So let's have a look at how we would transfer from percentages to fractions. So 50% is 1/2. Really simple starter. Find a fraction of amount. How would you find half of a number? Now we all know that anyway, and here's a visual representation of it, but to find half of a number, we divide it by 2. Okay, I think we're all pretty confident with halving numbers, and so that's our easiest fraction of amount. Let's move on to think about a quarter. So how do we find a quarter of a number? Remember, when we find a half, we're dividing by 2. When we're finding a quarter, we are going to divide by 4. Okay, so if we imagine that this is our whole, we're going to split it into 4 pieces and we want one of those pieces. So if 24 is our whole, if we're trying to find out a quarter of 24, then this whole part is 24 and we just want the shaded area. So we need to split 24 into 4 equal pieces. 24 divided by 4, use your times table knowledge, that will be 6. And if one of those pieces is 6, it means all of these pieces are 6. And then if you are right, you should find that this all adds back up to 24, which it does. We only want 1/4 for this, so 1/4 of 24 is 6. Let's look if we wanted more than that. So how can we find 3/4 of a number? Well, first we would need to find 1/4. A little bit like when we did percentages last week, and we needed to find 10% before we could find 30% or 70%. So we're going to find 1/4 first. Now we've just done this one together. So remember, 24 divided by 4 was 6, and each piece was 6. Each quarter is worth 6. So now if I want 3/4, these 3 shaded parts, I'm just going to combine these 3 bits. Now I could do 6, add 6, add 6, but it would be much quicker and easier for me to do 6 times 3. So the answer would be 18. Now, if you see what I've done there, I've taken 24 and I've divided it by the denominator to split it into the parts I want. Then I've got 6, and once I've got 6, I've multiplied by the numerator. Okay? Let's have a look at this one then. 1/6 of 48. So if we imagine that this is 48, we're using this bar model style to represent it. So the whole is 48. And if we want 1/6, we need to split it into 6 pieces. So how do I split 48 into 6? I divide it. Okay, so 48 divided 6. Again, use your times table knowledge. Remember that when we're asking 48 divided by 6, we can also ask ourselves 6 times what equals 48. Okay, so it's the inverse. Use your times tables backwards. So in this case, 6 times 8 is 48. So 48 divided by 6 is 8. Now, I can fill in each box as 8 because they're equal. Dividing splits things into equal parts. So I've got 6 8s. So now if I want to answer my questions, I've got 1/6 of 48. So I just need one box. 1/6 of 48 will be 8. Now, if I use another colour, I want 5/6, so I'm going to need to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these sixths. Okay, now again, I could add them up, but what's quicker than adding the same number over and over again is multiplying. So 8 times 5, because I've got 8 in each box and 5 boxes. 5 lots of 8. And 5 lots of 8 is 40. Okay. Let's set you off to try some of your own. So there are a few example questions here. We've got 1/5 leading into 2/5, 1/4 leading into 3/4, and then 2 sort of random ones for you to try. And remember, you divide by the denominator to split into the right number of pieces, and then you multiply by the numerator. It might be helpful for you to draw out your bar diagram, draw your little boxes, and visualize it that way. So pause the video here, have a go at these 6 questions, and then come back for the answer. Okay, so let's see what you came up with. 1/5 of 45. So if I was going to draw my bar model, forgive me for not using a ruler. I would be if I was on paper, I promise. Imagine these are 5 equal sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My whole is 45. I need to do 45 divided by 5, and I will get 9. And then each of my sections are worth 9. So 1/5 of 45, hopefully you should have got 9. Then for 2/5 of 45, we don't need to do any new working out. We just need to take 2 of the sections. 9 add 9, or 9 times 2 is 18. Now, 1/4 of 84. So if I did a little bar model to help me, I would split it into 4 pieces. Now, I might not be able to, that's a really bad job of splitting into equal pieces. So let's get rid of that at the end. Okay, I might not be able to do 84 divided by 4 in my head, but that's fine because I can either half it and half it again in my head, which is a way of dividing by 4, or I can use a written method, and we've got a short bus stop method. So I'll just pop that up here to help us. 4 into 8 goes twice, and 4 into 4 goes once. Okay, so 21 is what each of my little boxes is worth. Then I can look at my question. 1/4 of 84. So I just want one little box. One little box is going to be 21. 3/4 of 84, I need 3 little boxes. 21 times 3. That's quite easy to do in my head, 63. Well done if you've got those right. Let's see if we manage to get these right without doing the 1/8 or 1/10 first. So 5/8 of 64. I'm going to have to find 1/8 first in my head. So I'm going to get it in my head. 64 divided by 8 is 8. And I'm going to just scribble that down there. Now I want 5/8. So 5 times 8 is 40. Okay, and I can get rid of that. Same here. I've got 7/10 of 90, so I'm going to be splitting into 10. 90 divided by 10 is 9. I'm just going to jot that down there so I don't forget it. I want 7 pieces. 7 times 9 is 63. Okay, hopefully you got those right. If you've struggled with those a little bit, just rewind the video and watch it back again and have another practice. I just want to show you a problem now, because you might encounter some written problems in the activities that you're going to do today. So let's look at this one together before I set you off. There are 24 coloured cubes in a box. 3/4 of the cubes are red and the rest are green. How many cubes are there in the box? So let's represent this with a bar model. So I'm going to draw, again, please excuse no rulers. I'm going to draw the whole. I know I've got 24 cubes. 3/4. So I know my cubes can be split into 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3/4 are red and the rest, so that would be this 1/4 here, are green. How many green cubes are in the box? So I've got to work out what each little box is worth. To do that, I take the whole 24 and divide it by the number of little boxes I've got. 6. 24 divided by 4 is 6. So each little one is worth 6. And now really visually, I can see how many green cubes I've got. I've got 6 green cubes. You could have worked it out without the bar model, and you might have just worked out that 3/4 was 18 and then taken that away from 24, and that would have been fine too. So 6 is your final answer. I hope that makes sense. Go and have a look at the different activities. As always, there's different levels of challenge, and as always, there's a challenge sheet to finish. Remember, if you need any support, then join your teacher's drop-in session at 12:10 today. Thank you for joining the lesson, and good luck with your fractions today.